Council, at this time, we will receive a presentation from Mr. John Farina regarding the 2024 Municipal Audit. Mr. Farina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. McAvoy. And thank you to all the council members for having me here tonight to present the results of the 2024 audit of the Township of East Brunswick. Before I get started, I always like to start these presentations by thanking and acknowledging the client staff for their cooperation during the audit. I look back, we used a file sharing software to gather all of our information that we need for the audit. Angel and her team started uploading documents, I think it was February 10th. And I think the last date was June 28th that we received something on that file sharing system. So over 4 months of back and forth providing documentation for us for the audit. And I had a little extra time today, so I looked and it was over 1,500 documents were provided for the audit. So really just want to throw that number out there because we are the auditors, that's what we do, but during the audit, the client has to go over and above their normal duties to help us get the job done. And they're really very responsive here and get us stuff quickly. And it's good information when we do get it. So that should be noted. Happy to report that the audit was completed on June 30th. That was the deadline for municipal audits this year. And the township earned an unmodified opinion on the audit, which is the highest level of opinion that we are allowed to give. Just to give you a little background on what we do during the audit, we focus on internal controls. Internal controls are systems in place that provide assurance that the information put into the accounting software is good. There's proper approvals, the numbers are right, the dates are right, the accounts are right. We test a lot of areas of internal controls, and I'm happy to report there was no major issues in any of the areas we tested this year, and which was a big contributing factor to the unmodified opinion. Also, as part of our audit, we do what's called a single audit, which arises if there's a certain level of federal and state spending. This year, we had to test both federal money and state money because each had over $750,000. We tested the American Rescue Plan money as well as that was the federal side, and on the state side, we tested the DCA money related to the ice rink. And happy to report no instances of noncompliance were found when we did our test work. As far as the financial results go of the audit, you have in your hand. Strong results again this year. Current fund balance increased by about $5 million this year. You have 5 utility funds, with the exception of the parking utility. All the other funds operated at a profit this year. The parking utility did break even, but it required a contribution from the current fund as well as American Rescue Plan money to break even. So overall, very good audit. Again, the highest level of opinion we could give, and great job to everybody. So I'll open it to any questions anybody may have.
All right, I'll just take the bull by the horn. And Angel, if you feel the need to chime in on this, please do. The one thing that I cannot do, Mr. Farina, is tell you what page I'm on because there are no page numbers. Maybe that can be they can rectify that for next year.
We could do that.
I'm about 2/3 of the way through the audit. I'm on a O'Connor Davies professional page. And I'm on that 3rd page with the report on internal control over compliance.
Yes.
Right? A deficiency in internal control over compliance exists when the design or operation of a control over compliance does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned function to prevent or detect and correct non-compliance with the type of compliance required of a federal or state program on a timely basis. Can you comment on that?
That is standard language that is in all of those reports. There were no deficiencies. That's just saying that if there were a deficiency, that's describing what the deficiency would be.
And you had mentioned something about the state and the federal, so there was
Correct.
not a problem there.
Not a problem with any of the state or federal money.
Moving down a couple of pages, Township of East Brunswick notes to the schedule of expenditures of federal awards and state financial assistance. That's the heading.
Yeah.
The accompanying schedule of expenditures of federal awards and state financial assistance are presented using the basis of accounting as described in note number 2 to the township's regulatory basis financial statements. Therefore, some amounts presented in the schedule may differ from amounts presented or used in the preparation of the regulatory basis financial statements. Is this a problem, or is it just a?
No, it's just a function
comment.
of the basis of accounting that New Jersey requires, which is,
Very good. I like
Yes.
I like these easy responses.
I like the easy questions.
I move down to a schedule of officials in office and surety bonds. And, I see you did the correct, no. I thought Mr. Wendell's name was spelled incorrectly, but there is double L's there on the bottom, so I stand correct. I'm going to make sure that was correct. Finding finding number 2004-001. During the audit of procurement documentation, we identified one of 10 purchases tested that required competitive quotations from the local public law contracts, parentheses, NJSA, blah, 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 close parentheses, the township did not obtain the minimum written quotations. Can you explain this, and is this a problem?
Local public purchasing law requires that if anything, a purchase is over the quote threshold, which is 15% of the bid threshold, that you're required to get quotations, not formal bids. You don't have to advertise, but you should reach out to multiple vendors to get prices. We found one instance.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 where that did not happen.
Right.
And hasn't happened before. So we felt it was an isolated incident, but we felt it should be commented on. And
Council President.
Got it.
If you refer to your resolution tonight, Resolution 25-255 is a resolution with a corrective action plan on how to remedy that in the future. So we have a plan in place, and Angel and a company have already started working on that prior to the report.
Can't expect Angel to be perfect. So having one out of 10, I'll accept that. And finally, on cybersecurity, as part of its overall risk management, the township reviews security measures in place relating to its information technology, including the use of specialized assessments. With the ever-increasing challenges related to cybersecurity, each organization determines what particular assessment or combination of assessments best fits its information security strategy. We suggest management continue to assess risks related to cybersecurity along with the utilization of specialized assessments, which would also include a periodic reporting mechanism to those charged with governance. My point, your cybersecurity comments seem to be short and narrow, but that's the recommendation. Is that because the audit process is not aligned with the IT? And in your professional opinion, are we reviewing security measures properly?
yes, we are. We include that blurb in all of our audits just because of lately there's been a lot of issues with specifically ransomware with government entities. I know we've spoken to Joe about this many times here, and with the GIF, they are, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are very strict
Yeah.
on covering you
We're-
and,
In the central JIF and the statewide JIF, where we're on the cybersecurity, we're a member of the cybersecurity statewide committee. Casey Wagner from Woodbridge is the primary contact there. On the secondary, we flip-flop every year. Last year, I was the primary, and we are at level 3 compliance, which is the highest level you can achieve. D2 is the company we utilize to do testing throughout the year. So more than just once a year, they do quarterly emails that we send out that actually are checking to make sure that people are following the guidelines. And as you all know, once a year, you got to take that wonderful cybersecurity class that everybody just loves to do. It's a requirement at the first level that all employees do that 1-hour training every single year. So we're not only at level 1, we're at the highest of the compliance level, which does, if we did have an event, reduce our deductible down very low. If you're not in compliance, you're looking at high deductibles as insured by the cyber JIF.
The interesting thing about the cybersecurity, and I've chatted with counsel about this, is there's always something new you can learn on that level. And sometimes, especially this year, it could be a bit scary,
yes.
especially for the layman who is reading this information and saying, oh, I remember that. And then the warning light goes off and like, whoa. So that's why I brought it to your attention to make
Yes,
sure.
and that's not it's not a formal it's not a recommendation at all. It's just pretty
Right.
much a suggestion. Keep doing what you're doing in this case. Because
Actually, we're finding more and more official business being trapped by the spam catchers and the junk email catchers and put into the junk or spamware files. And we're finding that some of the people then have to call us and said, we sent you an email a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we haven't heard back from you, and they're not on our trusted email list. So we do take this very serious. And partly to your credit is you have funded those efforts to replace routers and hubs and all the software and keep us up with the proper levels of Windows. And as you know, in October, you have to be Windows 11, which is a huge expense to go from Windows 10 to 11, and we're headed in that direction. We'll be full compliant by October. I think a lot of towns may be vulnerable if they don't get that update done.
And then just the final comment is, when we receive this, it's sort of like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Because it's time. And we are elected officials and we are paid officials. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we have our due diligence completed. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank.
thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.